Now, dear children, we do the last topic from this chapter, okay, and this is actually the concept of beats in sound wave. Now, beats is another phenomenon that can be observed even by the superposition of two or more than two sound wave. Superposition of two or more sound wave. But this phenomenon will be observed only when two sound wave of nearly equal frequency, not exact frequency, nearly equal frequency, so that the frequency of one wave is slightly greater than the frequency of another wave. So when this type of wave are produced simultaneously, if they are produced simultaneously in a medium, okay, in the same direction, then the intensity of sound produced by this superposition increases and decreases. The intensity of sound produced by the superposition increases and decreases alternately with time. And this rise means increase in the intensity and fall means the decrease in the intensity of sound, which takes place due to the superposition of two sound wave of nearly equal frequency, okay, is actually called as beats. So we can define beat as the phenomenon or in which there is a rise or fall in the intensity of sound wave due to the superposition of two sound wave of nearly equal frequencies was produced simultaneously in the medium, and this phenomenon is called beats. So the superposition of wave, more than one wave, also lead to the formation of beats, not only the interference. But remember, this beat can observe only when the sound wave of nearly equal frequency or slightly greater than each other are produced simultaneously in the medium. And under this beat, one rise and one fall form one beat. One rise means the intensity rises, and one fall means one decrease in the intensity. Fall forms one beat. Like wow. Okay, that means one rise of intensity, one fall in intensity. That give you one beat. So in this way, this type of beats can occur number of times. So the number of times the intensity of sound rise and fall just in how many seconds? 1 second is called beat frequency, or we can simply call as beat frequency also. So what is beat frequency? It is the number of times the intensity of sound rise or fall just in how many seconds? 1 second, and that is simply called as beat frequency. So this term beat frequency is also asked in the examinations. And one beat is nothing but one rise or one fall in the intensity of sound is simply called as one beat. So beat is also one of the phenomenon that you can see produced in sound wave, but this is due to the superposition of two or more than two sound waves. And basically we deal with two sound waves. So how many sound waves? At least two sound waves. Okay. Now we will discuss the condition for hearing beats. Now this is also important for examination. So you will be asked to write at least one or two conditions for hearing beats. Means under what condition we can hear the beat. And even children, the beat cannot be heard under all the conditions. Okay, under any situation. So there must be three conditions that we need to understand for hearing the beats. Number one is two waves. That means there should be at least two waves, and these two waves should have a very small difference in their frequency. That's why I told you, there's the frequency difference should be nearly equal. That means slightly difference with each other. That means the difference of frequency, okay, of two waves is very small, okay, and this difference should not be greater than 10. Say example, one wave has a frequency 20 hertz, then another wave should have a frequency of 29 hertz, like that. That means at least a difference of 9 or maximum 10, but it should not be greater than 10. Otherwise, if the frequency difference is large, we cannot hear our beats. We can hear only one sound, okay, but with no beats and all. Okay, so that's why this is one of the important conditions for hearing beats. Number two is the amplitude of the wave should preferably be equal. That means the sound wave which make the particle to displace, okay, should have equal amplitude. That means the amplitude of the wave should preferably be equal, so that maximum and minimum intensity means maximum intensity means constructive and minimum intensity means destructive interference of sound produced in the beats can be distinctly heard. Means we can able to distinguish the sound of maximum intensity and sound of minimum intensity, so that we can understand there is a rise or fall in the sound, intensity of sound, and that makes the definition of beats. Okay, that's why for that the amplitude of the wave should be preferably equal. It should not be large. It should not be large difference like that, nearly equal. And last point we have The two superimposed sound wave producing beats must have frequency in the audible range. When the two sound waves is superposed, that superposed sound must have a frequency, but in the which range? Audible range. That means audible range is 20 Hz to 20,000 Hz. That means for normal human ear, what is the audible range of frequency of sound? Hearing the sound of frequency 20 Hz to 20,000 Hz. Means when the two sound waves superpose, the frequency of superposed wave should not be less than 20 Hz and it should not be greater than 20,000 Hz. Because 20,000 Hz sound of frequency greater than 20,000 Hz is called ultrasonic sound, that cannot be tolerated. And sound of frequency less than 20 Hz is an infrasonic sound, that sound can also be cannot be tolerated, means cannot be heard also. That's why the frequency range should be in audible range, 20 Hz to 20,000 Hz. So these are the conditions for hearing beats. Now from this particular topic called beats, we basically need to know what is beat of sound, what is beat frequency, and what are the conditions for hearing beats. Okay, now in the next YouTube video we do with the last topic, that is the application, the practical application of beats. And even we classify, distinguish beats and interference. With that, a chapter interference and beats, that is the superposition of wave, first part get completed.